and welcome to this webinar, I would say, or this session where we will discuss how to crack that SDE job that you're looking for at your MAANG company, at your dream MAANG company, I would say. All right. So brief introduction. As Rachel introduced me, I'm currently a senior software engineer at a MAANG company. Been there for several years now. Previously, I was at Amazon. Again, I would say I have been there at Amazon for several years of my career. And before that, some other organizations. But I have spent somewhere around close to 12 years in the industry, um, primarily into backend distributed technologies. Cloud computing is where I specialize, and I like to interact with learners like you, with several folks for who are looking to crack those interviews, get into their dream roles, and like to discuss or impart something, whatever I have learned over all these years. So that's what usually I do in my casual time. I've been with Crio for quite some time now. And with all that introduction, let's get started. Before I begin exactly, I would request all of you to please stay till the end of this session. There is an exciting activity towards the end. And also, you will receive a certificate and a special announcement towards the end. So please stay tuned towards the end of the session, and let me begin on that note. So there are a few things which I would like to cover in today's session. The agenda is in front of you. And while I would not like it to be completely a PPT based thing, in the sense that I would like it to be interactive also, is what I'm trying to say. I have these things in my agenda which I want to speak about, but then I would also like you people to contribute. And how do you contribute? Well, I would appreciate if you can actually provide your inputs via the chat box that I'm monitoring continuously. And there are several learners here. So in order to maintain the decorum of the session, I am not I'm trying not to give the speaking access to everyone, because that will create an not a good experience for everyone. So use the chat box to provide your inputs, and I'll appreciate if you can do that. Now, let's discuss that why exactly you are here. I mean, I understand. I mean, you also know that, fine, this is about getting that, or how to get that SD job at a MAANG company. But what are the reasons which have brought you here, or why you are looking for exactly on that kind of a role, that kind of a switch? Now, there are several things. And when I speak for these several things, I'm speaking from a bit of personal experience also, that somewhere in our career, somewhere down the path, in our journey, in our corporate journey, we do reach a certain stage where we have certain level of blockers, I would say, or certain level of unsatisfaction. The career trajectory is not going as we expect. There are not a lot of development works. Maybe we are not getting interesting projects. Not We have been doing the same thing for a good amount of time now, and we want something to change, and several other things. And for folks who are yet to get their first job, well, again, that is definitely a blocker, that you are not yet able to get your first job. And there are some triggers which actually alleviate, alleviate all this impact. So some triggers like, you are not getting promoted, but some peer, some other colleague is getting promoted. You have been trying for that lucrative on-site opportunity, but you haven't been able to get it yet. All right. No hikes as such. If any, then it will be very low. You're not getting those interview calls, no shortlistings happening. And essentially, when you get the interview calls, you are not able to clear them. I mean, there are a lot of, I would say, accumulating factors here, but at the end of the day, there is a level of, I would say, a gap, I would say, where we are trying to reach, but we are not able to bridge that gap, or we are not able to get to that other side of the fence. And I mean, what you are trying to achieve, like the goal exactly, because when you reach there, the other side of the fence, there are going to be a lot more opportunities. There are a lot more things that you will be getting. Salary definitely being one of the major drivers. And you understand that as your years of experience grows, if you are into a core development based role, your earning potential can be exponential. You understand all of that, right? Now, salary being one of the criterias or one of the factors, apart from that, as we discussed, like what are you trying to achieve? These apps may sound familiar, like a WhatsApp, a Google Maps kind of a thing, or an Apple Maps kind of a thing, a payment gateway, payment service kind of a thing, food delivery, uh, some Airbnb, hotel booking kind of a system, or some other Instagram kind of a photo sharing kind of a website. I mean, these are very interesting, exciting applications, and given a chance, any developer would want to work on any of these apps, which are creating a whole, I would say, bigger impact, an interesting impact, interesting projects. And that, if given an option to anyone, I would say, being a developer myself, I would pounce on any of these opportunities because they sound exciting to me. They look exciting to me. I can see a potential of learning new technologies, impacting a lot of people, I would say, with my development work. And that's where all the excitement or all the drive for the developers lies. All right. And the question, obviously, as it poses that if it's a choice, wouldn't you like to work on any of these kind of a problem statements? Mostly, yes. I'm pretty sure mostly yes, unless and until you are very satisfied in your job and you're not looking for those challenges and that growth and all. But these are pretty exciting projects, is what I'm trying to say. Now, we understood what's the goal, what we will get at that other side of the fence, and things are very exciting out there. But then why are we not able to achieve it? What's exactly stopping it? Well, what's stopping you from getting those big job offers? And obviously, it will take a bit of time. It's not like today you attend this session, next week you get that interview call and you get that opportunity. No, it doesn't happen like that. It's not a magic trick. It takes time. It takes time. An ideal time, let's say somewhere around some 5 to 8, 6 to 9 months is what the time frame looks like. So you should ask this question to yourself, like what you need to get those lucrative job offers in that coming future, in that next 6 to 9 months. All right. These are some of the challenges. And it's not like I'm trying to impose these challenges that, okay, these are the only challenges. There are other challenges also, for sure. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone faces their own set of challenges. But uh, with experience, with my experience of learning, I would say interacting with several learners, on several, I would say, on Crio and outside of Crio also. I have interacted with several learners. I myself have faced some of these challenges, and speaking from personal front also, I can relate that these are some common set of challenges which folks face when they are looking to get that switch to that lucrative developer job, which will get them a lot of other opportunities, a lot of different exciting opportunities that they are looking for. Shortlisting, college tier making impact. You don't have good grades. There is a gap in your resume. I mean, you are not able to crack your tech rounds, not able to crack system design rounds, and several other things. All right. So with all of that, I can completely say that two of the main things which are actually in your control, I would say. There are a lot of things which are in our control, which are not in our control. Also, there's a mix of a lot of challenges. But two of the primary things which I have realized, which are under your control and which can make the biggest impact in you get, getting that job, getting that offer, getting that dream offer, I would say, is to get your resume shortlisted, is to get an interview call, first of all. That's the first thing. And the second one is, once you get that interview call, you should be able to crack it. You should be able to get past your interview with flying colors. These are the two most impactful reasons or most impactful challenges that you will encounter and which are within your control, actually. All right. So, how do we go about tackling those challenges? How do we go about addressing those challenges? That's what we have to look for. All right. First, let's understand. Let's understand the requirements. I mean, it's not that we have to blindly just shoot our arrows in the dark and just uh, I would say expect that we become lucky one day and we get the job. No, it doesn't happen like that. It has to be, or it is, I should say, is a systematic process. It's a step by step, planned, curated, systematic process, is what I'm trying to say. So how do you first of all find those roles at these big MAANG companies or these big tech companies? Well, the best source of finding the roles, that those open opportunities, is their career website itself, I would say. Each of these big tech companies, and even any other company by on that for that matter, has their career page. Some of the popular ones, like there is for Meta, there is metacareers.com, Amazon has amazon.jobs, Apple has jobs.apple.com, and similarly it has Google and has Netflix. Each of these big tech and any other company for that matter has their separate career portal. They have good filters that you can apply, your location-based thing, your level-based thing, tech, non-tech. Primarily, we are talking about tech right now, but again, there are filters. There are filters out there. You can apply them. You can easily do this effort from your side to shortlist or to get those roles which you are targeting at these big man companies. All right. Again, LinkedIn also is a very popular one. There are other job portals also which have good filtering criteria. You can totally use them and get for the open roles. But the best source of truth is these exact company's career page, I would say. All right. Now, fine, we have got the careers page. We know where the source of this job lies. But do I understand what they are looking for? What exactly, what are the skills I need to have as an engineer, as an SDE, if I have to crack a job at their company? Now, while we might happen to think a lot from the candidate's perspective, we being the candidate, we are trying to get that job. But let's for a moment reverse this, I would say, uh, reverse this view. And when I say reverse this view, what exactly are the hiring managers looking out for? All right. Even the hiring managers, I would say, are looking for pretty skilled developers out there. Even it is a challenge for them also that they would be receiving several hundreds, thousands of applications, like hundreds of applications daily, maybe thousands of applications per week or month or whatever. And humanly, it's a challenge even for them, that how do I actually filter out or get that skilled developer who will fit my bill. I mean, as the picture depicts here, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. All right. And it takes a lot of effort from the hiring manager's perspective also to get those skilled developers. Now, these are some job descriptions, and these are the job descriptions captured from the exact company's job portals. The first step that you should do, the understanding that you should develop, is what are the skill sets that they are looking out for. For example, Meta, as you can see, there are several, I would say, any of the standard languages. There is large scale infrastructure experience. Then on the front end, they are looking at JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. And these are some SQL based thing also there. So that's a full stack kind of a thing. Then again, you have this for, I would say, Amazon. Again, some skill sets which are mentioned: high level, low level design. For Apple, you have these, I would say, data caching, DB schema, API platforms, all these experience. Netflix, REST API, RESTful web services, multi-threading. Google, you have distributed systems and all. So you see that with this, I would say, with this exercise, if you go through the careers page, if you go through those open roles, you will understand what are the skill sets that they're looking out for. And that will be the first step, I would say. That will actually create a roadmap, or I would say not a roadmap exactly, but it will create an essential goal for you, that what are the skill set that you should target, what you should be learning in order to get that dream job at these man companies. So I was talking about the hiring managers. Let's continue on that thought and let's step into their shoes. Here are three resumes, or CVs, I should say. Here are three CVs in front of you. I would like to know from you, and please you know, I would request you to voice your, not voice, but actually type in your opinion here. Which of these CVs looks that you as a hiring manager would be more interested in? What do you think? CV1, CV2, or CV3? Yeah, I'm getting some responses. What about others? All right, I'm getting a lot of responses which say CV3. All right, I'll maybe just take in a few more seconds, but mostly I'm getting CV3, and rightly so, rightly so. I'm sure even you will agree. It's not just the length. I mean, obviously you can see that the CV3 is the longest here, and it seems like it has more stuffs in there. But it's not just about that. It's not just filling up the resume or the CV. It's also about the content which is in there. If you see, if you read these CVs, all right, if you read these CVs, sorry, yep, if you read these CVs, you see that the kind of projects, I mean, while CV1 talks about a work experience, fine, great, good enough. It talks about a work experience. CV2 also talks about a work experience, and even it mentions the skills, particularly it mentions the skills also. But then if you see CV3, okay, it talks about the work experience, it mentions the skills also, and it mentions some interesting projects that that person has done. And this kind of covers a really good, I would say, really good view. I mean, a 360-degree view is what I'm trying to say. So let's say if someone is looking to make a career switch or make a career, enhancement or a level change or something like that, having everything covered from the project to the work experience to the skills and everything gives a holistic view of your experience, what you possess, what the nature of things that you have worked on. And that is why CV3 stands out for me if I'm a hiring manager. I not only get a peek, an insight into your work experience, I get an insight into your skills also. And I also understand that, hey, there are some interesting projects also which I see. Stock portfolio analyzer, food ordering applications, and there are Git portfolio links which are given there. I can click and clearly see what are the level of technicalities that you have dealt with, what are the level of challenges you have dealt with in building those projects. And that is why CV3 is more, I would say, more susceptible, more, I would say, has more probability to get a call for the interview. And with that, the conclusion from that previous exercise is that companies want someone who has an experience of, who can do things, by the way, who can do things. And how do they develop that confidence? If someone has an experience of getting things done, which CV3 which CV3 reflects very well, I would say. Just a moment. Yeah, which CV3 reflects very well. I can clearly see that the person not only is doing, I mean, I would say not only is has a history of getting job done from his work experience, but is also able to carry out different domains. He has experience or he has carried out projects in different domains. So I am confident about his or her domain level exposure also. So that is the confidence this CV3 gives me. And that's exactly where I will also try to discuss or get to this point of discussing that what has been my experience at this MAANG companies. And I told in the very beginning that I would not like it to be a very PPT based kind of a thing or just a slideshow kind of a session. I would like it to be interactive. I would like to share the personal anecdotes also, which I have experienced myself. And I mean, having said that, even the pointers that we discussed up until now in the slides and all, even that some or the other points were coming from the personal experience that I can say. All right. So, what has been my experience? Frankly speaking, to start off, um, we had this college placement thing. I mean, to start off my career, it's been somewhere more than 10 years, as I told, but 10 years back, I started with, when I was done with my college, we had college placements, companies had come and Infosys was the first company where I got placed. Good enough, touch wood. I mean, everything went well. I was praying that thank God. At that time, I was like that. However, the shocker came when the Infosys joining was delayed. It was delayed by approximately some 8 months or 1 year or something. And I, being a restless engineer, I thought that, okay, can I do something else apart from this? I started looking for outside opportunity. At that time, we did not have that luxury. 10 years back, we did not have, I would say, luxury of these YouTube tutorials and these guided curriculums like Crio, I would say. We did not have that luxury. So obviously it was a struggle. It was a struggle to learn things. It was a struggle to implement things. So frankly speaking, I did not do many projects as such at that point of time. But luckily, there was some skill assessment tests and all. I forgot the name of one of the assessment tests which I had given, and that gave me an opportunity to land a job at Accenture. All right, and Accenture was my first company, service based one, obviously. uh, 1 year down the line, 1.5 year down the line, I realized that I was not doing much. Frankly speaking, I was not doing much. I was very desperate. I prepared something. Luckily, again, got an opportunity, landed at Oracle. And again, why I'm not emphasizing much on this, because I did not do much effort there. Frankly speaking, I did not do much effort there. I luckily got a job opportunity, like updating my Naukri profile, and just got a job opportunity. Sorry, interview call, gave the interview, passed, fine, good enough. But then again, at Oracle, uh, I I had all those knee-jerk reactions. I mean, which the reasons which we discussed earlier. I did not have exciting projects. I was hired for a Java, for a Java developer. I was made to work on something like, I think, PLSQL, and I was like, clueless. Where is this going? I mean, I was hired for something. I'm doing something else. So again, and it did not take much time. I mean, 1.8, 1.8 years after Accenture, I switched to Oracle. Uh, Another 1 year, I was again looking for a switch. And these are the reactions. These are very natural reactions which happen. These are very natural challenges which anyone faces. And that's what I'm saying. Even I have faced all of that. However, I realized that, see, hey, now I have done a lot of things. You know, I started from fresh out of college, fine, Accenture, nothing exciting. I I was desperate. I changed job again. Again, I landed up at a boring place, and all those kind of stuffs were going in my mind. But then I realized, let's now target those big tech. Let's now go for those MAANG companies. And that is where I started working on projects. I kind of, by that time, around some 2000, I think 16 time frame, yeah, somewhere around that frame, 2016, 17. I realized, like, at that time, at least some tutorials or some, I would say, some blog links and all had started becoming popular. I realized that, okay, these big tech and all look for projects. That's the way to get shortlisted. Again, referrals are also a way, but then you need to have that backing, that platform of projects, and of having those skill sets, develop those skill sets to be confidently clearing the interview. So I realized all of that. Talked to some of the colleagues, some of the friends at those big tech, and realized what is needed, and I worked towards that. I built some relatively, I would say, medium level projects, I would say. And Started with a GitHub profile actually back then. I started with my first GitHub profile or GitHub repository back then. And I worked on all of these things. I built projects, some projects with a bit of help, with a bit of consultation. Luckily, I had help from another person, I would say, another senior who was at a MAANG company. But that's where I realized the need of the need of these mentorships, and the need of these feedback from someone who has already crossed that journey, or who has already traveled that path. So I got all of that. I went through all my preparation. I developed all those skill sets, got an interview call through all my efforts, and successfully was able to crack Amazon. Spent several years there, and Amazon was my first company in my career where I spent, I would say, more than 2 years, I would say, because all of the previous stints were pretty short lived, and not only 2 years. In fact, I was there at Amazon for almost around 6+ years actually, and that speaks that the level of projects, the kind of challenges that I dealt with. If I was not satisfied with something, there were several options at Amazon. So I realized how these big tech works, and the kind of opportunity that they provide, and the 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 opportunities like are plenty is what I'm trying to say. There are a lot of freedom, flexibility as such. Again, it can be quite subjective from team to team, but in general, I'm speaking, I from my experience, this has been the thing. I have experienced the highs also, I have experienced the lows also. There have been times where I did not have such good teams, such good managers, even in Amazon. But then most of the time I had good, exciting challenges, good supportive managers, so most of the time it was good. Even now at my current company, I have had a good, I would say good good several years. I have had good exciting projects, good new technologies to learn, which I had not explored previously. So things have been exciting, things have been satisfying, I would say. And the other part, obviously, right now, being so much experience in my career, I'm not that much actually looking at the monetary compensation part. Uh, the more I'm looking at the challenges, the level of work that I'm doing and all. Obviously, money is important for everyone. So that is a part and parcel of the job, and it comes with your performance. It comes with the I would say the kind of companies, the kind of projects that you're working at. So that is anyways taken care of. But now I'm able to tick the boxes on several fronts, which I was unsatisfied on earlier in my career. And that is how I realized, speaking from my personal experience, that it takes planning, it takes all these efforts, it takes all of these, I would say, skill development, doing those projects. Projects are the best way not only to showcase your skills, but to also build your skills, give you that confidence in the interview, is what I'm trying to say. And the power, or I would say, the importance of mentorship, someone who has already crossed that journey, who has crossed that goal, crossed that, I would say, traveled that path, who has been through those challenges, is the best person who can guide you, who can unblock you, who can help you. And I realized all of that. And now, when I have achieved not only one, but even, in fact, two man companies, I understand that, yes, however cliched they may sound, now that there are a lot of, I would say, internet exposure, you would find a lot of courses out there, lot of blog links out there, lot of guidance on the internet. The effect of having a curated curriculum, a guided curriculum, with someone, guidance from someone who is already there where you are aspiring to be, and mentorship from people who know what challenges will come and how to overcome those challenges, that is the best thing. My journey took so much time. If someone has already that, all of those efforts, all of those, I would say, facilities, the journey time will be shortened. That is what I have realized. And I understand you might have heard several of these things. You might see all of these things through a lot of blogs, a lot of internet exposure, but they are true. If if someone or some place you are getting all of this, and they are putting in all that genuine effort without much of a hoax, much of a, extra fluff kind of a thing, focusing on the actual core things that matter, well, nothing can beat that. And that exactly, I would say, I would say that, even I'm speaking all of this from my interviewer experience also. After having spent several years, I have taken several interviews, and I realized that these are the things which are missing in the candidates. And I have seen the candidates who have passed had all of these. And I know, as I said, I have been here at Crio for several years. Um, I have interacted with learners outside of Crio also, and I know these are the things which the learners are lacking. And people who have been able to develop these things have been able to crack the company. So I'm speaking both from a candidate, an interviewee experience, and an interviewer's experience. What are the expectations? All right. And that is exactly where I am going towards, that all of these things about resume shortlisting, the tech interview preparation, what all these things, what is required in all of these things? Well, you should have meaningful projects. I told that I was started working on projects that can showcase or highlight my skills. Any competitive coding profile, if you are interested in that, then other things which also can sometimes play a role. But then primarily these are the things which should be good enough for impact, because I did not have any college or any current company as such backing me, and I was able to build the skills, build the projects, and that's how I navigated my way, I would say. So applying to the right companies, getting those referral helps, I would say, or guidance on how to reach out to the recruiters or the managers. All of those steps are what are involved in how to get your resume shortlisted. Then it obviously comes to the interview process where you have all this interview, I would say, DSA round, a couple of them problem solving rounds, all those important data structure, the project based round. You have to discuss about your projects that you have done. Uh, Mostly it will be a technical discussion where they will ask you about your project choices, like what implementation did you do, why did you do it a particular way, what were the alternatives you considered. And you can only pass this, you can only get through this if you have worked on those meaningful, exciting projects, which you can confidently talk about. Then there is a system design round for experienced folk, and it comprises of LLD and HLD, like depending on the company. Mostly for big tech, it will be an HLD kind of a round. For SDE ones, HLD does not hold that much importance. SDE ones are the entry level ones, fresh out of college. But primarily, you can look at LLD kind of question. You can expect that kind of thing. But for folks who are experienced, slightly experienced, at least a couple of years experience, HLD will be there for you. So system design round is also there in your interview process. And then there are some, I would say, sometimes some companies also focus on some take home task also, or some mini projects, or in fact in that session, in that round itself, they will ask you to maybe come up with some kind of a, let's say, some kind of a small application or some kind of a small project. That is also sometimes around. For example, I remember in one of the interviews, there was this round of building a very small, simple interface, which can, I would say, which can display things in a certain way. I think I forgot exactly, but there was this particular ask in one of the interviews. It was a very simple interface, not all those, glamour, I would say, or beautification things were involved, but a simple interface is what were the expectation. So these are the steps that are involved in the interview process, and this is what it takes for preparing for all of them. And the application essentially does not happen instantaneously. I have heard this from a lot of people that I have been applying to several companies. I'm not getting calls. What do I do next? Well, how many companies have you applied? I mean, it's an iterative process. It's a game of probability. The first 10 applications actually just will, if you get interview calls or if you are not getting calls also, in either case, it will help you understand where do you exactly stand. What improvements do you need to do, maybe in the resume, maybe in your preparation, if you're not able to crack the rounds or whatever. The next 10 applications or your interview, I would say, opportunities will help you test your skills, like strengthen your skills, I would say. Like it's somewhere in the middle of your preparation. You are still not that confident at this stage, but it will help you establish that, okay, I know what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are. And then finally, when you reach at least, I mean, well, I would say that not for everyone, it's like that 100 plus numbers. It's just, I would say, and I would say an approximation, a representation is what I'm trying to say, that it takes several applications. It's not that straightforward. It might take several applications, and it will take those applications until you receive a job, because then after several iterations, several interviews, you will be more confident from the past, let's say, failure or the past interview. You will be more confident. You will know I could have done better at what stage, and accordingly, these iterations, these several, I would say, efforts over time will essentially land you that job. Preparing a good resume is definitely one of the first key aspects where you, before even applying for all of these, interviews, opportunities, and open roles. So preparing a good resume is for sure one of the key aspects that you should be looking at. And there is this video on Cryo's YouTube channel that you can go ahead with, which can help you get an idea that how to write a resume that actually gets you shortlisted. Short video, 10 minutes video, not long. Go through that, highly recommended. And then there are some tips and tricks that visit the company's website to keep track of the open positions, create job alerts on LinkedIn, on the company's web portal itself. They have their notification system. They ask your email and they will ask that if we have a relevant opening, we will notify you, make use of that. There are several other websites, as I told. LinkedIn is there, Cut Short is there. In India, there is Naukri and all. So, you know, optimize your profiles on those websites. There are several career consultancies also there. So you can reach out to them directly. You can get, I would say, send your resumes to them also in order to get a relevant interview opportunity. So you can make use all of these tips and tricks in order to get your interviews. So while I was saying that all of these efforts, all of these, I would say, steps go into the preparation, getting your resume shortlisted and all. And that is exactly where I would say Cryo can help you. All right. So I would obviously love to take any question and answer. If you have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat box. I'm constantly monitoring it. I take them up to in a very short time, maybe in another 5 minutes when I'm done with this. Feel free to post your questions in the chat box. However, I'll quickly just discuss on how Cryo will be bridging all that efforts which are needed or will helping you with all that efforts which are needed. All right. So Cryo mainly will help you with that resume building thing and acquiring those interview skills. And these are the two major things that we discussed. Even I highlighted that those were the major things, major gaps, which I realized are needed to get that dream job, get that SD job. That is what it took me, I would say. All right. So Cryo can definitely help you bridge that gap, learn those skills. Cryo is an experiential learning platform for developing your software engineering skills. And this word experiential learning is critical here. I mentioned that there are a lot of organizations, a lot of, I would say, options available over the internet, but something which focuses on the exact core thing, getting things done without much fluff, much hoax, uh, uh, I would say focusing on the right things to essentially convert your time into something fruitful. Cryo exactly does that. And having spent some good time here and having interacted with some learners, I can vouch for the results that I have seen over the years. So there are several things to talk about Cryo. I mean, it has been founded by several stalwarts. Like there are, I would say, decades of experience at these big tech companies. It has got a good backing up by the VCs, got good funding and all. But primarily, what I'm trying to vouch for is the results that it has been able to develop. There are a couple of, I would say, programs that you can be enrolled into. There is fellowship program in software development, and there are other programs also. But primarily, this is the I would say this is the I would say major program that will benefit you if you're looking to get that SD job into your bank companies. This is the uh, primary highlighting program, which if you are interested, you can get more details from the Cryo team. And it will take a bit of time. The trial session is free, obviously, for this, but it will take the entire program is approximately around 9 months. And it has delivered the results. I'm not saying it will help you do this, but I'm vouching from the results that I have seen from the past learners who have put in the right level of dedication, right level of, I would say, efforts which are needed in the disciplined manner, who have been able to fulfill all those criteria. They have seen the results, and that is why this program has been very popular across Cryo, across the industry. So that is one major program that you should look forward to. There are real world projects, the CV3 that we saw, very, I would say, real world based kind of things, different domains, Flipkart e-commerce like project, Netflix like project, Make My Trip travel website like project, Spotify like projects. All right. So there are different real world projects that you should expect to work on as part of your that fellowship in software development program. And then primarily there are different mentors. I also highlighted the importance of mentorship, someone who is already there where I aspire to be, someone who has already walked that journey are the best people who can help me, what challenges one faces, how to overcome those challenges. So there are several industry mentors who are already working in your dream companies who will be guiding you, who will be teaching you, who will be assisting you with your doubts, with your problems. All right. And these are some numbers. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. I'm not going to add any more pointers here. I will let the numbers do the talking. These are some numbers which we have garnered, which we have been able to generate over the years. An average for a working professional, average hike of 81%. For dream offers, for super dream offers. Super dream are your the MAANG companies, what I'm talking about. There are other tech companies also which come under this dream offer, not your MAANG companies, but I'm talking about the MAANG companies in the super dream offer. But then again, there are other tech companies also as an option. So we have been able to get an average CTC of 10 LPA for them, to 21 LPA for your super dream companies, the unicorn startups, the MAANG companies, super big MAANG companies, big tech companies, and all. And there are 1,000 is just kind of a base number, but there have been more than thousands, in fact, thousands of cryo graduates, which the companies have hired, and they keep coming back. The keep coming back is the important part here, because it's not that you hire one time and then forget, but they have seen quality. They have seen the quality. It's not just cracking that interview, but the skills that those cryo grads have developed over the years, and the way that is helping them perform. The cryo graduates are performing at those big tech companies, is why those companies keep coming back. They keep coming back and keep hiring from cryo. And these are some of those names. I mean, there are unicorns, there are your super dream companies, as I told already, those big man companies. There are growing startups, as you can see. There are consulting firms also. So there are big names which have hired from Cryo, which keep coming back to Cryo because they have seen the quality. All right. And these are just some, I would say you would find some of these on your LinkedIn or I would say you would find their profiles on LinkedIn. And these are again some numbers which I would quickly like to skim through, because these are very self-explained. I don't need to go into much details on this, but we have been able to achieve 95% placement within 9 months of graduation. Uh, 10 LPA, we already talked about average dream job, CTC, 81% average salary hike. There are several hiring partners, several companies which keep coming back and keep hiring from Cryo. All right. So the numbers are pretty evident of the quality that Cryo has been able to deliver over the years. And with that, I am done with all what I had to cover for this session. All right.